Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings is what happens when a studio gets immense power, money, and reach, and they're able to go deeper and deeper into the comic book sandbox. No spoilers right away. I will warn you when there are spoilers. Also, I'm hoping there's a timestamp above my head right now, so if you want to go directly to spoilers, you can. But just in case you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to mess it up for you. So, no spoilers as of right now. You will be warned when I get into spoilers, so no fear of that. So I went into this movie pretty blind. I think I watched one trailer for this movie kind of half-heartedly. I wasn't really jazzed up about this movie. I love martial arts, which I'll get into in a little bit, but I don't know. I didn't care enough to keep watching all the teasers and trailers and promotional stuff and reading the interviews. I just kind of went in blind, and I feel like that made the movie more enjoyable for me because I had no idea any points or like scenes in the movie because I completely forgot the trailer I even watched. That being said, holy shit, was this movie refreshing as fuck. The biggest compliment I can give this movie is it didn't feel like an MCU film. And I understand I'm a DC fangirl, so you instantly roll your eyes and go, of course you would say that, but I'm so tired of cookie cutter safe stuff. And I feel like with this movie, they actually broke out of their formula quite a bit. And I'm not saying that the cookie cutter shit isn't fun. I mean, I'll watch the movie, I'll have a good time watching it, but then it's gone. Like, my brain just purges it afterwards, and I really don't want to rewatch the movie. This is a movie I would actually rewatch over and over and over again. At home, once it starts streaming, I'm not going to go back into the theater again with the disgusting, diseased, rooms. I'll wait till I can pause the movie, pet my cats, go to the bathroom, stuff like that. Maybe why I like this movie a bit more than other MCU movies is I really do like martial arts films. I'm not a fan of pew-pew gunfights and stuff. I'd honestly rank it magic, martial arts, then guns, and, those type of heroes. So for me, I enjoyed this quite a bit. If you're not the type of person that likes martial arts or movies like House of the Flying Daggers and stuff like that, you probably were like, ugh, come on. Just take out a gun. And I would agree with you, there certainly were parts in this movie where my brain thought, boy, a gun would just, solve this super fast. Like, this person is all, I'm gonna beat you up. And you just take out the gun, you're like, alright, problem solved, time to move on. I really did enjoy all the action scenes. That's probably pretty obvious. None of them were too bad, where the action was going by so fast that it was hard to follow. I'd say maybe a little bit, but it was never like Liam Neeson bad of him climbing the fence, where there's so many cuts and it's all over the place and you're just like, do I have brain damage now? I mean, I know I have brain damage, but it's just too much. And I never felt like there was a point in this movie where there was so much action or the fighting scenes were so all over the place that I just wanted to vomit everywhere. That being said, there definitely were certain fight scenes that were better than others, but I'll get into that once we're into spoiler territory because I don't want to mess that up for people that don't want spoilers. Speaking of not going into spoilers, I won't tell you how it's different, but the power of the Ten Rings is definitely different in this movie. I think people that are more wanting a one-for-one translation from the comics might be a little bit upset, but for me, I feel like how they used the Ten Rings and how they changed it, the abilities, the variety, how they showed the powers, I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. I have no complaints with how they changed it, and even the size, it's not a big deal to me. I actually really liked how they used the Ten Rings in this movie. And for people that really wanted it to be more like the comics, I feel like if they did, it would be very confusing to people, and I think what the MCU, Marvel, Disney tries to do is they try to make these movies accessible to people, just the average person, not the comic book nerds, so I kind of get it. I loved the protagonist, Sean. He wasn't like a normal protagonist where he was super like quippy and charming. Kind of like, I feel like we get so many carbon copies of Tony Stark. Like we get it with Peter Quill. They made Doctor Strange a bit more quippy than I expected him to be. Instead, we get this character that's, I think, pretty serious, but still with a little bit of goofiness fun to him. A little bit of youth, without just being, like, super witty, snappy, whatever. Also, I have no idea what China's problem was with the actor for Sean. I thought he was super hot. I know they were all like, oh, he's not attractive enough, and I understand their beauty standards are a bit different there, but dude's hot. I don't even, I feel bad that guy had to come out and be like, yeah, there are days where I don't feel attractive and days where I do, after Chinese media was like, yeah, dude's not hot enough. Really weird. Awkwafina, if you don't like her, she does play kind of the obnoxious character she plays in almost every movie she's in, but it's toned down in this movie, so if you're afraid, okay, Awkwafina, I'm gonna lose my mind. It's a toned down version of that type of character, so don't feel like you're gonna go into it and she's just gonna be all over the place. I don't feel like there was any point in the movie where I thought, wow, you gotta dial it back. So while I didn't love her character, I was never groaning while she was on screen. I guess that's the important thing to take away from that. I loved the villain of this movie, and I know people that watch this channel regularly are like, oh, what a surprise, she liked a bad guy. But honestly, this is my top 5 MCU villains ever. I feel like, and it helps that the actor they got to play the villain is incredibly, incredibly talented. So I know that was a big part of it. But also, that Marvel's starting to realize, oh, we should add more depth to our villains, because when it's just like a mustache twisting, I want to rule stuff, it falls flat. But once you start to add in humanity and a good story to the character, and you start to feel for them, it makes a much better villain. Although I guess you could say in the beginning the villain just was all about, you know, conquering and power, but he got a soft side. That's what counts. The other minor characters I think were fine. There was never a point where I felt, okay, this is a little bit too much. You're running the joke with this minor character about, oh, social media and whatever. I feel like they have a lot of restraint for once, or unlike the problems they've had with other franchises that I'm not going to talk about here. It's not important. But I was surprised at the restraint Marvel showed with jokes that could have gone too far, and they just put in enough to be funny without being groan-worthy. I heard a little bit about this. If you're worried about the movie being woke, I guess, I don't know, I heard that people were upset that Disney was just doing this to be woke, which is weird to me. Do you think if Rush Hour, with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan was made nowadays, those type of people would be screaming that it was just done for diversity's sake and to be woke? I feel like they would. And those movies they rocked. So I don't think there was a lot in here that was woke. There was a bit of like girl power stuff, but I feel like maybe Marvel just puts that into every MCU movie now, honestly. I don't know. The girl power stuff was a bit much, especially at the end, but what are you gonna do? It's Disney. They're trying to get more ladies to watch their stuff. I give this movie 9 out of 10. It's my favorite Phase 4 Marvel movie right now. Don't tell anyone watching this video that there's only 2 movies currently in Phase 4 that have been released, but I love this movie. I will watch it again. That being said, I am now getting into the magical land of spoilers. If you do not want spoilers for this movie, like, subscribe, and just, have a fantastic fucking day. So Sean wasn't snapped. That is pretty obvious. Given the dates throughout the film that are thrown around, also what his dad says, he wasn't part of the people that disappeared. His sister wasn't either, which makes it even weirder that he abandoned her and never decided to reach out to her or try to find out where she was. I mean, I get that he was a teenager and they make really bad, stupid, horrible, terrible decisions, but kind of a dick move, bro. Like, oh, my dad is not a good person. All right, I'm just gonna GTFO, leave my little sister there. It's gonna be fine. again. Dick move, bro. Speaking of dick move, Wenwu, did you really expect your little boy to go out and try to defend his mother when those people came in? I get he was saying it just to be like nasty and get into his head, but come on. That was messed up to say to a kid. Well, I guess you said it to him once he was in his mid-20s, but still, not okay. Hey, but were those guys that killed the mom just super stupid? Okay, he's no longer using the rings, he's retired to a peaceful life, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's go in and just rile this guy up and take away what made him go into this peaceful life. Did they think he got rid of his abilities, the 10 rings? Did they not think this through of, I kill his wife, he's probably just gonna absolutely wreck me. I don't get the thought process there. If it were me and I knew a dude had an artifact that was super powerful, I wouldn't kill his wife. But that's just me. Maybe you would. Let me know in the comment section down below. The reveal that Sean did in fact go through with killing the person that was responsible for his mother's death was a huge twist. I honestly expected him to be the goody two-shoes hero that was like, oh no, I can't kill, and then he runs away. But the fact that he did it, and then he realized, I don't want to be this person. I can't do this. This is not what my mother would want. Made his character have a lot more depth. And that twist was pretty awesome. To, use not a very elegant word. Which is crazy that he had so much remorse and felt like, okay, my mom wouldn't be proud of the person I am because of that. But then you have his dad, who just went full-blown psycho again, who thinks, oh, I'm gonna help her, she's gonna get out of here, and we're just gonna be, back to being lovers, she's gonna totally accept me. Just completely different mindsets. Sean's sister, she was Bamf, okay? I love the weapons she used. I think she was a great character. I wish they wouldn't have pushed the so hard daddy ignored me, I didn't get to play with the boys woman power thing. I understand there's sexism in the world towards men and women. We all get it. We all understand that humans are not nice to each other, regardless of gender, sex, whatnot. We're assholes to each other, okay? We get it. Do you remember a time where we could have badass women in movies without it becoming a PSA about men not allowing us to play in their clubs? I'm old enough to. Can we go back to that? Can we go back to having Bamf women in movies without making it some sort of weird statement? That'd be great. Thank you. All right, now that we're in spoilers, I'm going to go back to talking about Wenwu a little bit because I just love the dad so fucking much. Give me a prequel series or movie of all his conquest. The actor playing the villain, and I understand dialogue, writing, story makes a big deal, but the actor, just his body language, just how he held himself, how he delivered his lines, just a really sympathetic villain that I want to spend more time with. His motivations were beautiful, loved the fight with his wife, well, future wife. It just was so elegant, so artsy, I guess you could say. I love that he sacrificed himself and then passed on the 10 rings to his son. Just a beautiful character arc for this guy. Him using the rings was just an absolute blast to watch. The variety he used them, how the powers were depicted, just him going in and wrecking stuff. Just, there wasn't any scene of him using the rings where I felt like, oh, all right, this is kind of boring. I was captivated, okay? Absolutely captivated. Also, if you're upset that they were bracelets instead of rings, I think they're going to use the excuse of, well, it would be rings for a dragon's fingers. So, if you're upset about that, maybe that's just the way they're going. Refreshing, too, that the rings just weren't an artifact of, oh, they give me immense power. You actually had to do combos with them that made the abilities stronger. And I'm hoping people aren't upset about the powers being different than the comics, because I feel like the change was really good and really translated well to the screen. But if you don't, you can let me know in the comment section down below. Like, if you are just raging pissed, let me know. Here's to hoping that Sean continues to use the bracelets like his dad did. I mean, not as brutally, because, oh my gosh, when he figures out the people that were responsible for killing his wife, and he goes into that restaurant, and we don't see anything crazy, bloody, at all gory, but his body language, the sound of the rings, just, you know, he messed those people up, and it was an incredibly violent death. I like when movies can indicate something and make you understand what's happening without actually showing you the gore or blood. They just show the person, and you're like, wow. Because anything you imagine in your head is going to be much worse than what they could ever show. Those people were dead. Just not regular dead. Super dead. Speaking of dead, those soul-sucking minions of the Dweller in Darkness didn't think there was going to be nightmare fuel in this movie, and here we are. Definite nightmare fuel, oh my gosh. The Dweller in Darkness, while bad, I feel like his minions were scarier, and if they were going by the comics, he could have been a lot worse. I mean, yeah, okay, not cool to get into a guy's head and use his dead wife to get yourself out of a prison, but again, could have been a lot worse. I don't think he was as scary as he could have been. The Great Protector proved that we do not have enough dragons in the MCU, and if I'm understanding the Easter eggs, I think we're getting more dragons in the MCU, so, you know, get hyped about that. I'm also hoping the signal from the rings makes Strange and Sean end up working together. I liked Razor Fist. That was a surprise when he first entered the bus and he did his little blade arm. I thought, okay, this is just gonna be the big, bad, dumb guy that's gonna rough up the protagonist. The protagonist is gonna beat him up, and here we go. But he was actually really competent. He got what he was told to get, and he was able to lead the Mandarin's men in a very, I feel like, more so intellectual way than what we see with a lot of villains' right-hand men. Speaking of the Mandarin, I didn't think we would see the fake Mandarin again. I don't know if people are upset that when we made fun of the fact that they chose the Mandarin as a nickname for him because of, you know, the whole, oh, an orange, how intimidating. And I also wonder if Marvel/Disney brought the fake Mandarin back as a, hey guys, I know this pissed you off. I know the twist that we didn't give you the real Mandarin just was like a thing that raged out the internet. But here, this guy got imprisoned for what he did. Although maybe the fruit joke will enrage people again. I don't know. I'm hoping this soothes over the anger about the Mandarin from the Iron Man movie. Morris. I get he was based off of a creature from Chinese mythology, and I understand mythology can be a bit out there weird, but I could never quite find him cute because the having no face thing just kind of haunted me a little bit. But I did enjoy him in this movie, and it was very cute, the bond between Trevor and Morris. On a side note, has Michelle ever not been amazing in every movie she's ever been in? I feel like she could just stand around and I would applaud her. It's crazy to me that she's going to be 60 next year and she is just absolutely rocking it. Wong was expertly used in this movie. I thought we were going to get a lot more of him in this movie because I heard he did a lot of interviews and I thought, oh, okay. Maybe it was obvious from the interviews that I decided not to read because I wanted to go in blind, but he was used very well. The few scenes he was in, I loved the fight scene. I did not think we would ever see Abomination in an MCU movie. Kevin Feige, you really do love us. But the fact that we're just getting more to Wong, that he goes and has these caged matches, just, it was delightful. The more we get of Wong, the more I just absolutely love his character. I guess we can go to one of the after credits scenes. Was it me or was Captain Marvel a lot better? I don't know, she seemed more relaxed, able to joke, wasn't so emotionless. I don't know if maybe it's because the actress Brie has been playing her long enough where she's a little bit more relaxed in being in the MCU, or if they've purposely made it, okay, her character was brainwashed a long time ago. She's had time to just kind of calm down and actually have a personality, but she seemed a lot better to me, and I hope going forward we're gonna have more of that type of Captain Marvel and not what we've been getting, because I don't feel like the Captain Marvel they've been giving us is exactly working. Bruce is no longer Professor Hulk, and I am deeply saddened. Bring back Professor Hulk! I was a bit confused, still in the after credit scene. Why did Wong also invite Katie? I mean, she doesn't have any powers. She learned how to shoot arrows kind of quickly, and she had a lucky shot, but why along with Sean? For moral support? Then why doesn't Spider-Man take Ned along on all their adventures? I demand justice for Ned now. And we already have some experts with bows and arrows. I mean, we have Hawkeye and soon to be a new person, so I don't know, it just felt weird that she would be included. She's gonna go on a mission with him and get into a fight and just get wasted. And not in the fun way. So like I said in my non-spoiler part, 9 out of 10 in my top 10 favorite MCU movies to date. There are a lot of good MCU movies coming out in the near future, so maybe that'll change, but for right now, loved it so much. But hey, that's just some dumb bitch's opinion. Like, subscribe, and let me know what you thought about the movie in the comment section down below. Whether you loved it, hated it, doesn't matter, but make sure you put in the comment section. I'm terrible with social media. I won't see it anywhere else.